Hi, welcome back to another episode of Justlivin Designs podcast. My name is Shannon, Justlivin Designs. This is episode number 19. It is May 30th, just before 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a Thursday. I usually try to record this podcast on Thursday and either get it up Thursday or Friday, depending on life stuff. Yeah, we're at the end of May. I can't believe it. Time just keeps rolling, doesn't it? So you can find me on Ravelry as Justlivin or Justlivin Designs or Shannon Larson for my pattern designs. I also have links in my link tree down below to Payhip and Lovecrafts for other places to find my designs. I have Goodreads linked down below. I have my I'm Justlivin Designs on Instagram. That's down below, and anything I talk about will be down below in the description box. Just click the more button and it should drop down. I'll try to link everything I talk about. If I forget something and you have a question, just let me know. Yeah, so this is my podcast where I talk about the things that I've been working on, knitting / crocheting generally. And if I have a new design, which I do today, spoiler, I'll talk about that. Yeah, it's just where I like to share with you guys all my fun yarny knitting experiences. So let's get on with it. First, I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing, and then I'll go into my new design release, and then my finished objects, my works in progress, some acquisitions, reading, watching, and life stuff. So that's kind of the flow that I try to do. And that way, if you are only here for the yarny stuff, that all gets done right away. All right, so what I'm wearing, this is actually one of my few garment designs that I have. This is in the pines. Stand up so you can kind of see the bottom. Has this eyelet stripes before the hem. And then it's, so this is a fingering weight tee pattern that I designed in 2020. Yeah, 2020. I knit this one with Spun Right Round and her classic sock in the Woolen Pine colorway. And when it came in the mail, the reason I called it In the Pines is because when it came in the mail, I was listening to Nirvana's Unplugged album, and they do a beautiful rendition of In the Pines. Is that what it's called? Or is it called Where Did You Sleep Last Night? I can't remember what the song is actually called, but I love their version of it. And I was listening to it and I opened up this package and I was like, oh, and so that's why it's named that, because it just reminded me of that. Oh, that's very pretty gray with speckles of like ochres and browns and greens. And then a contrast. I just used a 20-gram mini from, it's linked in the pattern, the dyer, but for my size, I was able to use about 20 grams for all of it. Some of the other sizes might have more because I have very narrow arms. But yeah, this is a design that's knit top down. It is a boxy shape, just has a rolled over collar. Like I said, it's a fun, easy wear t-shirt. And it's a little bit chillier out today. Yesterday, sorry, I was looking out my window. There's a elementary school not too far away from us, and they always go on the last couple of days of school because school's wrapping up here in Billings. And the last couple of days, they walk from the school down to, there's a really cool church playground down the way, and they're walking by down the road. I can see them. I remember when my kids were in elementary school and seeing the kids walk by. So anyways, I don't know what grade it is going by, but they're going by right now. That's fun. Anyways, time of the year, end of the year celebrations. But yeah, so this was, it's my one and only t-shirt design. I have another one that I'm working on, but I don't know, again, if it will ever be released. A lot of times I do sweaters or t-shirts self-drafted, and then I don't release them because it's just so much work for me to do the grading and all the other parts of it that it's harder for me to do. I know I could pay somebody to do it, but I don't sell enough to make that expense justified right now. But yeah, I love this tee. Like I said, it's a little chillier. We had rain, thunderstorms yesterday, and it's windy today, and it's a little chillier out. I don't even think I think it's still in the 50s out right now. And it's not supposed to get above, it's supposed to only get in the 60s today. So not as warm out. So that's when I like to wear like the woolen tees this time of year. And if I get a little chilly, I can throw like a sweatshirt or something else on top of it. But I can handle this. If it's too warm out, it's just too warm for me. All right. So that's what I'm wearing. My new design that I just released today. I will put the coupon code for this down below. But it's a sock design. Imagine that. So, this is Color Me Stripes. And it is a design that I really loved. I had intended for, okay, back up. I got this, I think this is soft aqua. It's Frankie Gray Fibers, this yarn. And I got soft aqua and then this retro mini skein. It had two other colors. I think there was a navy and like just a bare yarn, a white in it. And I got it originally to design something else with it, and I never ended up designing it. And then I just kept looking at it, and I still loved the idea of the aqua contrasted with the minis. And I was like, oh, I should do something with that. So I decided to throw it into socks. And instead of doing all 5 colors, which I could have, and then it only had 1 color per area, I kind of liked these 3 in particular. This like pinky color, this ochre-y, well, not really ochre, but mustard yellow, and then this bright red with that aqua. And so I wanted to do stripes, and I wanted to add a little texture. So I came up with this design, and it is a top-down sock with stripe sequence, heel flap and gusset. And then I have it written up for tall or shorty, because I know some people just don't understand like kind of where they like their height of things. And so showing an example of it is nice. And this one is knit. So this one was Frankie Gray Fibers. And this one was Knit Picks Stroll, then the Dove Heather, and then I think it was Lang, Jawool, and Medallion maybe for the stripes. And this one I just decided to do 1 color for the stripes, because I really like those colors together. That's the ochre with the gray. It's just, I think it's really pretty. So yeah, there's my new sock design. I had lots of testers. They really enjoyed this pattern. Flew off the needles, because whenever you're doing your own stripes in this, but whenever you do that, it just kind of makes it more fun. So yeah, nice little texture and stripes. Can't go wrong. And yeah, I of course have the other pairs, and now people can wear these. I'll probably have the shorties. My daughter will probably take the tall ones because she liked the colors of that one. So yeah, I will have a coupon code and the pattern linked down below. The coupon code will be good for both Payhip and Ravelry. I can't put coupon codes on Lovecraft, so if that's where you prefer to buy patterns, I'm sorry, you just have to pay the full price. But it will be a 15% off until like June 6th of 2024. So, yeah, I'll have that linked below. Okay, put these away. All right, now we can go into some finished objects. Remember last episode I had like 0 finished objects, and one of the pairs of socks I was like, I'm gonna fit it, don't worry, there will be at least 1 finished object. Well, there's a ton of finished objects because I got my sock mojo back. And after the last episode that day, I did finish my son's socks. So these are, my first finished object is from, yarn is Mustache yarn in the colorway Ready Player One. I had used this previously for a pair of socks for my sister-in-law, and my son loves Ready Player One. And so I decided to make him his birthday socks out of this, and then it's just Knit Picks Stroll for the contrast. And it's just, it's my own sock recipe, toe up, that way I could get the most out of it, because he likes tall socks, and he's skinny. And he likes a ribbed sock, so this has a 3x1 ribbing. I've talked about them the last couple of episodes, I think, because they were on the needles for a little while. But yeah, that's my first finished object. My next finished object was a whip last time. It was my other sock whip. And that is my May yarn from my little stash of yarn that I pulled out at the beginning of the year, and I put them in bags to give myself a little surprisey yarn to cast on every month. And this was the May yarn. So this one was Bumblebee Acres Yarn and Farm. They're Stephen King Club. I don't know if they still do that or not, but this was the fairy tale colorway. I have two socks, and this was my trusty top-down sock pattern. It's one where it has a garter edge heel flap, written for, I think, 9 sizes, kid all the way up through very large adult, top-down, heel flap gusset, very much a go-to pattern. All right, so that's my next finished object. Now the next two, I think I have cast on since the last episode, and they're going to be part of an upcoming design. I've been working on this design actually for a long time, getting a Flegel heel out there to the world with different varieties of stuff to go with it. So I've just been playing with how I do my Flegel heel. So the first one is a shorty pair for me. And this was, I forgot, I threw away the yarn tags. I don't know why, but I did. This was like, okay, this yarn came from when I worked at a yarn shop many years ago. This yarn shop no longer exists. I did a sample of the baby, like newborn vertebrae, and this was a leftover yarn. It was just under 50 grams left over, and it's been sitting in my stash since like what, 2017 probably is it when I worked there, 2018, somewhere in there. So this 50-gram ball or so was just sitting there, and I was like, oh, I bet I could turn that into shorties. And I did. I used almost everything, because this was about, I think I had 49 grams, and I used about 47 for this pair. But it is a pair. One's blocked because I also did some tutorials with my socks. So one's blocked, one's not. So this one's freshly off the needles. But yeah, so this was 3 Irish girls in the Adorn Luxe base. Baby Emma Star is the colorway. So yeah, this will be coming out. I still need to finish up the rest of my tutorials and finish editing the pattern and then get it out to testers. So it will be a little while before it gets out into the world, but that's just how life goes. And then my next one is another for that version. It's another shorty, but it's a taller shorty because this one will go to my daughter. And this was where I added some ribbing to it and contrast. And this one is Legacy Fiber Arts in the Twinkles Tea House colorway. This was a sock set from my Advent that I got last year from them, the 4 Sundays of Advent micro sock sets. And so again, I have the pair and see how different it is. It sucks it in a lot more, because like these are the exact same size and unblocked, and you can see the difference. Just a little ribbing adds, it sucks it in a lot more. So if you have problems with your socks staying up, add some ribbing. I keep telling you guys that. All right, so those are my other 2 finished objects. So I had 4 finished objects, and it's funny, all my finished objects for May because I probably won't finish another one in the next 2 days. We'll see. You just saw, they were all socks. It's just hilarious. And because of that, I do not have as many, like, remember last time I talked to you guys, I had a lot of whips and no finished objects because I was just like jumping back and forth, and I just couldn't help myself on what to knit. And this time I was focused on socks like crazy, and because of that, I did not work on some of my other stuff, but I was able to finish off a lot of things. So the only other 2 whips that I have, you did see last time. I did cast on another sock, but it's for a different design that I'm not going to show off yet. So first I'll show you, this is in a Beautiful Sister bag. And this is my striped tee. Like I said, this is a self-drafted pattern. Last time I was up here before the sleep divide. And so since then I have finished my raglan, because this is a raglan, top-down raglan tee. I have finished the raglan shaping, and I picked up and decided just to do a rolled over collar, kind of like I have on this one. I kind of like that with the tee. It's not super heavy up on your neck for a t-shirt, but also it's kind of nice. It looks nice. And then also when you pick it up afterwards, it adds a little structure to the top of the neck. And then I also finished off the sleeves because they weren't going to be very long. So I just did a little, there's one extra stripe after the sleeve divide of the contrast. And then, you know, shortly after that, I go into the rib of the cuff. And so I'm, about halfway done with the body, maybe a little over half. Over halfway done with the body, I'm sure, but. And this is just, you know, now it's just round and round, changing colors out when I need to stripe. And this one I'm working with the Wool Dreamers Sonona. There's the tag. And it's a 50-50 wool cotton blend, and I'm using the colorway Guthrie is the main color, the darker, the gray, and then the cream is Notes. And I am on my second ball of Guthrie. I'm almost done with it. These they're 50 or 100 gram balls? They're 50 gram balls. So I haven't quite put in 100 grams of the main color yet, and I have one more ball to go. I'm pretty sure I'll have plenty since I'm already this far. And all I have to do is finish off the body. So I should have plenty of yarn. And then my stripy yarn, have that much left. I will have plenty of that left over, I'm sure. Ugh. Anyways, so yeah, that's that. And then my other whip that I'm going to show you, I am still crocheting on my granny striped blanket. I don't know, you know, as summer comes, I might put away a lot of the blanket whips. And, you know, I pick up stuff when I want to work on them. And if it's air conditioning, that's when I get cold when the air conditioner's running, especially at night. So that's when I might work on blankets more often. And this one I usually work on in the morning. And it's usually a little chillier in the morning. That's one nice thing about living in Montana. It generally does cool off at night to the point where we can open up the house and not have the air conditioner run overnight. When I lived back in South Dakota, that wasn't the case because it was humid there. But let's see, where was I last time? I was where this marker is right there at the last episode. So I've put in, I think I had just barely started this color, the browns and purple, and then I put in this one, and then I'm on this top color, and this one cracks me up, this color. This is a really old Knit Picks like Stroll multi, which I don't even think they make the multi anymore. I had made my daughter, who is now 15, when she was about 2. I made her knee-high socks out of this yarn. So this yarn has been sitting around for a long time, needing to be used up. I lost it. It was in a box somewhere that I just was, when I was going through stuff, I found it. Let's see, where's my other markers? Here's my other markers. So this one down here is kind of where I started in April, and then May is right there. And then when I get done with May, you know, I have today and tomorrow, I might get done with this yarn that I'm using, we'll see. I will put in another marker to mark between my progress for May. But yeah, it's getting longer. It's got a ways to go, but it's getting longer. And I'm just doing a granny stripe with fingering weight leftovers of 20 grams, amounts of either leftover sock yarn or 20 gram minis that I just put into a magic knot ball. Like I said, this is the last bit of the ball that I had made up, so I'm on my last 20 grams. I'm sure there's not even like, there's less than 10 grams I'm sure left at this point. It's probably closer to 5 left on that. And I'm using a 3mm hook. And I don't remember how many I cast on, but I think I have it in my project page, how many I cast on originally. And this is in, I don't think I usually tell you about this bag, but this is a Ho-Hi & Co. Pampa bucket. I don't know if they still make this exact style, but this one I love. It's very nice. All the yarns that I have like ready to use for this blanket to make up more magic knot balls are in another spot because it's just too big to put them all together. But this is good for holding the blanket, the ball I'm currently working on, and the notions that I might need. So yeah, that's all the whips. Like I said, I have been finishing stuff off, so I don't have as many whips to show you. I will be talking a little bit about some upcoming cast-ons as well. Which actually maybe I'll go into that next. I am going to cast on for, well, okay, so Summer Socks Camp started last week on Friday, so about a week ago. And that is a summer sock yarn or knitting and crocheting sock make-along. That Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady hosts every year. And it's just a participatory, you know, come have fun, knit socks. And I knit socks all year long. And I have, usually I do throw in a pattern or two to prizes. And this year, since her theme, the logo, I guess, for it this year looked kind of like 90s. So she was going for like, and then she just kind of went crazy on 80s, 90s themed yarn and other things. So I decided to throw my Shermer socks and my Shermer DK socks in there because they were designed in the vein of The Breakfast Club, which is a wonderful John Hughes movie from the 80s. And so I figured that would go well. So that's what I am donating for prizes for that make-along. Anyways, so some of the yarns that I wanted to cast on here coming up, and I just haven't done it yet because, again, I just finished off a lot of socks and I cast on another sock design. And this was, I think I had it as an acquisition last time. This is my Tiny Human Knits Soot Sprite, I think is what it was called. I have it wound up. It came with a 50 gram self-striping and 3 10-gram minis, and I'm going to knit my daughter some socks out of that because that's very much her color jam. And then I have Pride socks wound up, and this because Pride month is coming up in June, and I usually try to knit at least one rainbowy Pride sock a year in June. And last year my husband got the pair. This year my daughter's going to get the pair, and this is Pretty Twisted Yarns in the colorway Graybow. So it's like a rainbow gray. Rainbow gray is how the skein kind of looked. And so when it knits up, it, you know, depending on my gauge and everything, we'll see how it knits up. But I'm going to make my daughter just a pair of straight up socks. I might have to see if she'd be willing to have non-ribbed ones, because when I don't use a contrast color, I like a straight stockinette look better, but if I'm gonna put rib on the whole leg, I don't like changing the rib with the same color, and that's what I usually do. I usually do like a 1x1 rib for the cuff and then a 3x1 for the leg and foot. But anyway, so this will be this year's. I bought this last year. I think she's almost ready to release this year's colorway for Pride Month. I'm not sure, but this one was last year's and I just put it off to the side to wait for this year. So, all right, so that's future cast-ons. All right, I think that's all the super yarny stuff, and then I do have some yarny acquisitions too. So first, I will let's see if I can get it all picked up. I had an order from Amazon. I don't order from Amazon all that terribly often. If I can find stuff locally, I do. But I needed to get some, I really wanted the Knitter's Pride Zings DPNs. And I needed a 2.5 because right now, when I do my muscle burra hats, I have like the, what are they called? The Flexi Flips in a 2.5, US 2.5, which is a 3mm needle. And I don't really like the Flexi Flips as much. And also I'm gonna have my daughter start knitting muscle burra, and she might need, I don't know if she needs the same needles as me or not, but, and I just wanted these ones. And then it also might work for some scrappy blankets this size. I usually use US 2s for scrappy blankets, but 2.5 might work too. And then in case I wanted to start another DK weight scrappy blanket, because I was thinking about it, I wanted to get another pair. And since the needles that I prefer for my like smaller scrappy blankets, like the Jelly Roll or Cozy Memories, the needles I have are the, oh, they just went out of business recently. What are they called? I can't remember, but they were like the short, like, I'm blanking. Sorry, guys. I'll link it. Well, I don't even need to link it. They're out of business, but you've seen them when you've seen my Jelly Roll. I have one pair of the US 5 of that, but in case I wanted to start another DK weight blanket, I figured I'd get some 5s. And I prefer metal for working on those things. I have 5s DPNs that are clover that are like bamboo, but I do prefer metal for the most part when working on those things. And one of those sets, I can't remember which one, but one of them came with some stitch markers. And then since I was on Amazon, something that popped up when I was buying the needles was stitch stoppers. And they had this set, it was actually quite cheap, of just cacti and some Monstera. So there's different colors. And I have a Monstera set already, and my daughter really liked it, so she might get some of these too because she knits. So I'll probably give her some cacti and Monsteras as well. But yeah, they're just nice little stitch stoppers, point protectors, whatever. And especially when you're using like the DPNs for those blankets, it's nice to put these on the end so you're not gonna lose your stitches and make it a DPN turn into a straight needle. And then the other thing I got was yarn. Mustache Yarn had their Star Wars update because it was May the 4th, and I have some Star Wars yarn from them. I think I have Chewbacca's colorway and Luke's colorway, and I still haven't knit those, but I wanted some other ones. So I got Han's colorway, and then I got Anakin / Darth Vader. So it has both of his lightsaber colors in there, and then grays and blacks and stuff. So, and then I also, their new one that they came out with, well, they came out with 2 new ones, I think, but this is speckled, and I just got it in a 50 gram, and this is Death Star Retirement Party. I thought my daughter would really like some socks out of that. So I can throw a mini with that and make tall or short socks. So we'll see. Or who knows, maybe I'll just use it for contrast. But a lot of times when I do something like this, I'll just do the whole sock in the self-striping and cut in a heel and have everything self-striping. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's all my acquisitions. I will wait to go over the May stats until I'm actually all the way through May. So my next episode, I'll talk about my May stats on grams in and grams out. I think right now I'm just barely more grams out than grams in. But if I finish like that last bit for the blanket, that will be another 80 plus grams that will come out. So here's hoping. All right, now let's see. We have reading, watching, and lifestyle. Reading's been the same thing as it was the last episode, and I think the episode before that. I just haven't had the super reading bug. I'm listening to Ready Player One. Again, I will say it's very different from the movie, but I do enjoy it. And then I am still reading the third book of the Red Rising series from Pierce Brown, is that his name? I believe so. Morning Star is the book I'm on. I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I'll go into the next one right away just because I do have so many books to be read, and that one I'm reading physical. The Ready Player One I'm listening to on the Libby app. And I have so many books. I'm looking over at my bookshelf next to my bed. So many books that I need to read. And I want to actually get into something a little bit different. I think I'm ready for a break from the Red Rising series. So I will read the next ones, but I know originally he wrote it as a trilogy. So once I get through this one, I feel like there will be a bit of at least a somewhat of a conclusion, possibly. And it might be a good stopping point for me. I've been watching Mythbusters with my son still. He loves it ever since we got Max, HBO Max. It used to be on Netflix maybe, and we watched, I think, all of it back then, but he just loves watching Mythbusters. And then I started watching Bodkin on Netflix. I haven't finished that series yet. It is a newer one, set in Ireland with podcasters looking into disappearances. It's interesting. It's like it's dark humor and mystery put together. I watched the new part 1 of season 3 of Bridgerton, and then I started rewatching Bridgerton while I'm waiting for the next part to come out. And my husband and I don't remember if I ever talked about this, but we started a while back watching True Detective on Max. The first season, it has Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. It took us a long time to get into it. It's getting really good right now. I think we're on episode 6 or 7. It's getting a lot better. But it took a long time. It just felt a little disjointed and slow. And the problem is we don't watch it until after like the kids are either going to bed or are up for the night. And that usually is like anywhere from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. And by that point, I'm starting to get sleepy. So putting on a show that's not grabbing my attention is difficult. So it's been grabbing my attention better of late. So that's good. But yeah, I'm now enjoying that. I know that the 4th season, which is the one with Jodie Foster, which I think is the most recent season, is everybody's favorite, but I'm gonna watch them in order just because that's what I do. Yeah, so life stuff. It's, like I said, end of May, getting to the end of the school year. Their last day is tomorrow. So my daughter has finals today and tomorrow. Last weekend was graduation for all the seniors in town. And my daughter went to, that was on Sunday last week, and she has a lot of friends. Even though she's a freshman, she has a lot of friends that are seniors because of the activities that she's in. And she went to, I think, 4 parties on Saturday and then another one on Sunday after the graduation last week. So yeah, she was busy doing all that. My son had his final orchestra concert. They did amazing. They were playing, he's in 6th grade. They were playing 7th grade level, what previous year's 7th graders were playing at the end of the year. They were playing it at the end of 6th grade year. So he plays viola, by the way. It's his first year doing it. He enjoys it. Only thing is, he's got my, I don't know how well you can see this, crooked pinkies. This is might freak some people out, but that is genetic. It's got a special name. I can't remember. I just always call it crooked pinkies. I played clarinet, bassoon, and guitar. I can still play guitar a little bit, but it makes it difficult to play instruments. I'll just put it that way. I had to figure out some cheaty things if I just couldn't reach a note. And he also, he's growing, so his hands aren't as big as they're going to be. So again, I mean, he's not on a full-size viola yet. He's on like one size lower, but yeah, so he's had some problems. He blames me for that, which I blame my dad. And then anyways, yeah, so he had his orchestra concert. Very proud of him. They are both, have always been advanced. They were both in this program Quest in elementary school for the gifted advanced kids. And so my son in 6th grade did Algebra 1, which is technically a 9th grade class. A lot of kids take it in middle school, but it's technically a 9th grade class. And so in 6th grade, he did Algebra 1. So next year he'll do geometry. And then the year after that, he'll probably have to be bused to the high school for Algebra 2, because I don't think they offer that in the middle school at all. And then my daughter was, she was a little bit higher, so she's in Algebra 2 right now. And then, yeah, she's doing a lot of her programs are called the honors classes, versions of classes. And so I think the thing with the high school is if you take honors, or there's another term for some of them, if you get so many of those credits throughout your school year, you can do a special thing at the end and be, I don't know if she's going to do that or not, but she's taking the honors classes, which are the harder level of them. I think 3 of her classes right now are honors. Yeah, so they are just hard at work, but also looking forward to the school year being done and having a bit of a break. We have been doing a lot of yard work. I don't usually talk about this too often, but we have 3 dogs, 3 large dogs. And if you have dogs, you understand the plight of them killing your grass. And so every year in the spring, we usually take 1 or 2 sections and reseed those areas. And so we fence it off from the dogs so they don't get into it, and reseed it. And then we have to keep watering it and all that stuff. And then we have to mow around. And I'm sure everybody has this, but like there's one area where it was, a lot of times the grass just dies and it's like brown grass on top, and that's not the end of the world. It doesn't look great, but it's not the end of the world. It's when it gets to be just dirt that I have a problem with, because then whenever it rains or in the winter snows, the dogs just get full of mud. So that's the areas that I usually want to focus on, is the ones that are just straight up dirt, so we can get some yard covering on them. Mowing, it's been raining so much here. We had, when was that? I think it was last week sometime. We had a whole day of like rain where we had over 1 inch, which is a lot for us. And yeah, so I have been having to mow. I probably could mow more often, but at least twice a week. I need to get out there again, but it rained yesterday and it's wet, so I'll wait until it dries up. Gardens are growing, all my seeds are growing. So that's exciting. I have to get out there and thin them once they get a little bit taller. so they grow in better. But yeah, so I guess that's about it. I hope you guys had a good 2 weeks. I hope you have a good next 2 weeks. Again, my daughter is in driver's ed right now, so she'll, even though school's ending tomorrow, next week, driver's ed, she still has to go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning to do driver's ed classes. So she'll have that through June. Yeah, I guess that's about everything. I, again, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're enjoying your knitting time. If you have it, I hope you are enjoying the change in seasons. And if you have kids that are getting done with school, I know some are already done, some are getting done, some won't be done for another couple of weeks. I'm there with you. I got to figure out I mean, I have some stuff planned for the summer, but not everything yet. Luckily, my kids are older now, so I don't have to like super plan out their summer. They're kind of cool to just chill. So it's kind of nice. It makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, hopefully I stay regular with the podcasting thing. I started this last September, so I never went through the summer. So we'll see if I keep coming back every 2 weeks. It might not be. Depends on how busy we get and what we're up to. All right. Well, again, have a good next 2 weeks, and bye.